Imagine you wake up in the middle of the night. The desert is silent, but a strange light glows on the horizon. You don't know if it's a dream or something the world was never meant to see. This is the hidden story of Bob Lazar, the man who says he worked on flying saucers at Area 51. If you want to know the secrets, close your eyes and listen carefully. You don't remember when it began. Maybe it was a dream. Maybe it was a memory that slipped through the cracks of time, but it has followed you for as long as you can remember. The same desert horizon, the same endless night sky stretching above you like a dark, breathing ocean. Stars shimmer like cold lanterns suspended over a silent world, and the wind moves across the sand in whispers that sound almost human. You stand in that desert, barefoot, the ground warm from a sun long gone. Each grain of sand feels alive, as if humming with a frequency just below the edge of hearing. And above, there is always the light, that impossible light, not a star, not a plane, not a thing that belongs to the world you know. It moves without sound, slides across the heavens, then stops. So sudden it makes your breath catch in your chest. And then it speaks. Not with words, not with sound, but with pressure, with weight, with something that seeps into your thoughts like a drop of ink in water. You are not alone. The phrase is never clear. Sometimes it feels like a comfort, sometimes like a threat, but it stays, echoing deep in your marrow, as if the desert itself is remembering something through you. You blink, and the desert dissolves into shadows. The wind fades, and suddenly you're awake again, heart pounding, eyes staring into the ceiling above your bed. But the dream clings to you like smoke. It's not just a dream, you tell yourself. It's a place, a memory, a truth. That's why it never fades. The years stretch on, and still the dream follows you. Even when you try to forget, even when you bury yourself in ordinary days, the feeling returns. Looking up at the stars, sitting in the silence of a classroom, hearing the hum of engines on a lonely road. Always the voice lingers. Remember. And so you do. You remember being a child, staring out your window at night, unable to sleep. Thus, a world felt too small, your bed too confining, the air itself too thin to contain the questions burning inside you. The stars above seemed alive, as if they were watching. You'd press your forehead to the glass, hoping, daring, wishing for something to move, something that would break the silence. And sometimes, it did. A flicker at the edge of vision, a sudden darting point of light that did not behave like a star should. You'd blink, rub your eyes, and it would still be there. A sharp movement across the sky, impossible, defiant of gravity and rules you hadn't even learned yet. But you knew, even as a child, you knew. Something was out there, something watching, something that did not belong to the quiet world of schoolyards, bicycle rides, and Sunday dinners. The memory burns like a candle in the corner of your mind, casting long shadows across your life. It follows you into adulthood, into every quiet night where silence presses against your chest. You are not alone. The desert becomes more than a dream. It becomes a symbol, a threshold waiting for you to cross. You can almost smell it sometimes. The dry air, the faint metallic tang that rises from baked stone. You can almost hear it, the low rumble of distant engines, the kind that don't belong to cars or trucks, but something stranger, something hidden. And always, you feel watched, not in a paranoid way, not by neighbors or strangers in cars, but by the sky itself, by something just beyond your reach. On certain nights, you hear whispers in your dreams, distorted, stretched, like voices recorded on broken tape. Look closer. It waits beneath the mountain. Do not trust the silence. The words dissolve as quickly as they come, leaving you restless, breathless, and aching with a curiosity you can't extinguish. Years later, when the world introduces you to the name Bob Lazar, you feel a chill ripple through your spine, because what he speaks about, the desert, the lights, the hidden base buried in the stone, It feels like the shape of your dream. His story does not sound like fantasy. It sounds like memory, retold in another voice. And yet, his voice trembles with the same weight that haunts you, fear and awe braided together. The burden of knowing something too immense to carry, yet too dangerous to leave in silence. You close your eyes, and you are back in the desert. The dream sharpens, more vivid than before. The stars seem brighter, the silence heavier. Ahead of you, the ground slopes downward into a hidden valley. Shadows move across the ridges, sleek and unnatural. At the base of the slope, half buried in the earth, a structure breathes with faint light. It is not a house, it is not a hangar, it is something older, stranger. You take a step forward. The sand crunches under your feet and you feel the hum again, the vibration beneath your soles, as if the earth itself is powered by something alien, something alive. And then you hear it again. You were chosen to see. The words fall into your mind like stones in water. You feel both terrified and comforted, drawn forward, yet desperate to turn away. The desert does not let you leave. When you awaken, the memory lingers longer than before. You smell dust in your nostrils. You hear the low thrum of something that should not exist. And as your heartbeat slows, you realize something deeper. This is not just a dream. This is the beginning of a story that will consume you, reshape you, and haunt you forever. Because once you step beyond the edge of silence, once you peer into the shadows beneath the desert sun, there is no going back. And somewhere, far away but impossibly near, in the depths of Nevada's barren seas, secrets are waiting, secrets that whisper, secrets that burn, secrets that never fade. You close your eyes and the desert opens before you once more. The light glows on the horizon, waiting for you to follow it. And you know, the next step will take you closer to the truth. You wake inside a memory. It is not yours, not entirely, and yet it clings to you as if it has always lived within your skin. The air is cooler now, sharper, touched by the faint scent of grass after rain. You are no longer in the vast desert. Instead, you are in a small backyard, where the glow of a porch light hums faintly behind you, buzzing with the wings of moths. Above you, the night stretches endlessly, and the stars, oh the stars, seem impossibly bright. They do not twinkle like ornaments in the sky. They pulse, they shimmer, they burn with secrets you cannot name. You are small, no taller than the wooden fence that encloses the yard. But your mind is not small. It is vast, hungry, endless like the sky you cannot stop staring at. The world around you is quiet, except for the faint ticking of a sprinkler in the neighbor's yard, the whisper of wind brushing against trees, and the faint thrum in your chest that feels almost like a second heartbeat. You tilt your head back, eyes straining, watching, always watching. And sometimes, the stars seem to watch back. The nights become ritual. You sneak from your room when the house grows still, the floorboards groaning beneath your bare feet as if warning you not to go. You slip past the half-open door of your parents' room, hear the deep breathing of their sleep, and step outside into the velvet dark. You lie down in the grass, staring upward until your neck stiffens, your hair damp with dew. And always, you feel that same tension, the sense of being on the edge of discovery, the breathless pause before something breaks open in the sky. You want to believe it is only imagination, that the flickers you see at the edge of vision are tricks of tired eyes. But no matter how long you stare, no matter how still you hold yourself, the flickers return. A dart of light against the black canvas. A sudden halt mid-air, like a lantern held by an invisible hand. A movement too fast, too sharp, too deliberate, and with it, the whisper, "Do not forget us." You flinch, eyes wide, but the night remains unchanged. The stars glimmer, the world stays still, and yet the words thrum inside your skull, faint and undeniable. Days blur into nights. At school, your hands are restless, scribbling designs, sketches of rockets and strange machines in the margins of notebooks. Teachers glance at you with weary sighs, their voices droning about arithmetic and grammar. but your mind is elsewhere, always above, always beyond. Other children talk about baseball games, cartoons, and weekend adventures. You nod, you smile, you pretend, but part of you is already lost to something greater. You cannot explain it. You would not even try. Because how could they understand? How could anyone understand the pull of the stars, the feeling that something waits out there, something vast and impossible, calling you closer each night? Even your parents notice. They shake their heads at the small engines you build in the garage, at the makeshift rockets you tape together from scraps of pipe and fuel you are too young to handle. They tell you to slow down, to be careful, but you cannot. You are driven, pulled forward by invisible hands, compelled by whispers that no one else seems to hear. Look closer. The sky remembers. You will see. One night, when the world is especially still, you climb onto the roof of your house. The shingles are rough under your palms, and your heart beats faster with every step. The town below is asleep, its windows dark, its streets hushed. Only the hum of distant power lines breaks the silence. You lie back against the slope of the roof, the stars flooding your vision. The Milky Way stretches across the heavens like a wound of light, and you feel impossibly small beneath it. But in that, to smallness, there is wonder. A wonder that tightens your chest and fills your lungs until you cannot tell if you are breathing the air of Earth or the silence of the cosmos. And then, you see it. Not a star, not a plane, something else. It rises from the horizon in utter silence, a faint glow that grows brighter as it hovers. Your pulse pounds in your ears as you watch it slide across the sky with impossible grace, stopping, turning, darting with movements no human craft could mimic. Your mouth goes dry. It is real. It is here. And before you can stop yourself, the words slip out, trembling into the night. I see you. The glow flickers as if in answer, and inside your mind, a voice unfolds like smoke. Then remember us, always. You do not tell anyone, not your parents, not your friends, not your teachers. The words live inside you like a hidden fire, and you guard them with the protectiveness of a child who knows their secret is fragile, too fragile to be believed. But the fire spreads, it fuels you. You begin building with greater obsession, engines, gadgets, contraptions that rattle and hiss and roar louder than they should. Neighbors shake their heads at the boy who plays with jet fuel, at the strange noises coming from the garage at all hours. But you know what you are doing. You are preparing, because one day, you believe, you will not only see them again. One day, you will touch what waits beyond the stars. But dreams are never safe. As you grow older, the whispers deepen. They come more clearly now, slipping into your thoughts as you drift to sleep. You are chosen to see. The desert will call you. Do not fear the silence. Each phrase drips into your mind, a seed of something you cannot yet understand. Some nights, the words comfort you, filling you with warmth and purpose. Other nights, they haunt you, pulling you awake in sweat, your chest tight, your eyes darting to the window as if something waits just beyond the glass. And maybe it does. Sometimes you see shadows move where no one should be standing. Sometimes you hear a low hum outside, as if an engine is hovering just out of sight. Sometimes you feel watched, even in the safety of your own room. You tell yourself it is only imagination, but deep down, you know, it is never only imagination. Time passes, and the boy who once looked at the stars becomes a young man, but the fire does not dim. You pursue machines, science, propulsion. You chase the edges of possibility because you cannot resist the pull of the unknown. And always, in the back of your mind, the desert waits. You see it in dreams, the endless sands, the ridges carved by wind, the hangars buried in stone. You feel the heat of the day, the chill of the night, the hum of secrets buried too deep for sunlight to reveal. The desert is calling. It has always been calling. And you know that one day you will answer. The stars above you seem to burn brighter, as though watching your every step, your every experiment, your every restless night spent chasing answers no one else dares to seek. And once more, the whisper returns, softer now, almost tender, but threaded with warning. What you seek will find you. You wake to the sound of silence, not the kind of silence that soothes you, but the kind that presses against your skin, heavy and alive. The world around you seems muffled, as though someone has draped a thick veil over every sound. No birds, no wind, only the faint throb of your own pulse in your ears. It feels like a memory, though you cannot place it. The edges blur like mist, but the center, the core of the vision, burns sharp and unshakable. A horizon stretching forever, a night sky shimmering with too many stars, and just beyond, in that space between seeing and believing, the light. It hovers there again, pale, deliberate, patient, and just when you think it will vanish, the whisper slithers through your mind. Ask, and you will be shown. You jolt, breath-catching, but the vision does not dissolve. It lingers, etched against your eyes until you finally blink it away. And when you wake for real, staring at the ceiling of your room, you realize something undeniable. This is not a dream anymore. It is an invitation. From that moment on, curiosity burns in you like fire. The world you knew, the neighborhood streets, the crack of baseball bats in summer, the drone of teachers in dusty classrooms, fades into the background. What takes its place is a hunger, a gnawing question you cannot stop asking. What is out there? You begin small. You spend hours in libraries, running your fingers over the spines of books no one else touches. You flip through dog-eared pages about astronomy, propulsion, and the impossible vastness of space. You stare at diagrams of rocket engines until they blur. You trace your finger over star maps, whispering the names of constellations like old friends. Orion, Lyra, Cassiopeia. At night you sneak outside again. The stars still burn with their impossible beauty, but now you search them with intent. You scan for flickers, for strange patterns, facades, or anything that does not belong. And sometimes you find it. A dart of light at impossible speed, a silent glow that halts mid-sky as though waiting, a shimmer that vanishes the moment you focus too hard. And always the voice returns, faint and broken, like an old recording skipping in the dark. Closer. Come closer. The answers hide in silence. Do not fear what waits above. One evening, you borrow your father's old telescope. The lens is scratched, the tripod uneven, but to you it feels like a key, a doorway into the hidden. You carry it to the roof, set it trembling against the shingles, and point it skyward. Through the glass, the moon becomes a world of craters and shadows. Saturn's rings shimmer like thin blades. Stars resolve into countless pinpricks, no longer just distant sparks, but suns in their own right. The universe opens wider than you ever imagined. And then, you see it. At the edge of vision, beyond the predictable sweep of planets and stars, something moves. Not drifting like a satellite, not gliding like a plane. It darts, sharp and certain, against the backdrop of eternity. For one breathless moment it seems to pause, just long enough for you to feel the gaze of something staring back. Your skin prickles, the telescope wobbles in your grip, and then it's gone. But the whisper is not. You see us. The days blur. Curiosity consumes you. You build small machines with parts scavenged from garages and junkyards, engines that hiss and rattle, gadgets that clank louder than they should. You tinker until your fingers ache and your clothes smell of oil and smoke. Neighbors shake their heads, muttering about the strange boy obsessed with machines, but you do not care, because with every bolt tightened, every switch flipped, every test that sputters into smoke, you feel closer. You feel as though you are building toward something greater, something waiting. And sometimes, when you least expect it, the visions return. Flashes of metallic shapes half buried in sand, the hum of engines without fire, shadows of beings, tall, thin, eyes too wide, too dark. Their presence lingers at the edge of your mind, both terrifying and comforting. Curiosity is the key. Follow the light, and the truth will follow you. The strange thing is, you begin to notice you are not the only one. Whispers ripple through town. A neighbor swears they saw lights dancing over the hills. A friend insists their father returned late one night, pale and trembling, refusing to speak of what he'd seen on the road. Even the local paper runs small articles about strange sightings before they vanish without follow-up. It feels like puzzle pieces scattered in the dark. Everyone sees something, everyone feels something, but no one speaks of it aloud for long. Except you. You cannot keep it inside. You fill notebooks with sketches, theories, fragments of memory. You write late into the night, your handwriting trembling as though the words are being pulled from you rather than written by you. Pages fill with circles, patterns, spirals that you do not remember drawing. When you flip back through them, the symbols unsettle you. They are not letters, not numbers, not anything you were taught, yet they feel familiar, as though whispered into your hand by something unseen. Keep writing. The memory is not yours alone. Sometimes, when the house grows still and the clock ticks toward midnight, you hear more than whispers. A low hum rattles the windows. A flicker of light seeps through the curtains. Shadows stretch too long against the wall. And though fear twists in your stomach, though part of you longs to shut your eyes and pretend it isn't real, another part leans forward, hungry, searching, desperate to see more, because the fear is not greater than the wonder, and the wonder is what keeps you awake. One night, as you drift between waking and sleep, the vision comes sharper than ever before. You are standing again in the desert, though you have never been there. The ground hums beneath your feet, vibrating like a living drum. Ahead of you, half buried in stone, a structure breathes with light. Its surface is smooth, metallic, alien. You cannot tell if it was built or grown, but you know with certainty it is not human. Shadows move around it, tall and indistinct. Their eyes glimmer faintly, reflecting starlight, watching you with an intensity that makes your chest ache. One of them steps closer, and though no mouth opens, the words bloom inside your mind. Curiosity brought you here. Curiosity will take you further. Your lips tremble, but no sound escapes. The figure raises a long hand, and the dream dissolves into fragments. You wake with sweat on your skin and a racing heart. The room is dark, the clock ticking steadily, the curtains fluttering faintly, though no window is open. And as you lie there, gasping, you realize something deeper. This is not only curiosity anymore, this is destiny. From that night onward, you no longer simply look at the stars. You search them. You demand answers from them. And though the world around you dismisses your hunger, though adults smile and shake their heads at your strange obsessions, you know what you know. The desert is waiting, the machines are waiting, and so are they. Soon, the whisper comes again, softer than a breath, yet undeniable. Soon, you will see everything. You wake to the sound of engines. At first you think it's a dream, the low rumble vibrating through your chest, the faint hiss of air tearing past unseen blades. But when you open your eyes, you're still in the dark. No planes overhead, no cars on the street, only the phantom roar of something not meant to be heard in this quiet place. It fades, leaving behind only silence. But in that silence, the memory lingers. A workshop, a smell of oil and burning wires, the sting of metal filings against your fingertips, the ache of staying awake too long, trying to bring impossible machines into life. It feels like you've been here before, though you cannot remember when. Build. The whisper comes again, faint but undeniable. Build, and you will know. Your curiosity has outgrown the stars. Looking upward is no longer enough. You want to touch the impossible, to bend it, to shape it, to bring pieces of the unknown into your own hands. And so, you build. The garage becomes your sanctuary, your temple, your hidden hangar. Tools scatter across benches, sheets of metal lean against walls. The smell of fuel lingers in the air, heavy and sharp, until even your clothes carry its ghost. You begin with what you know: engines, rockets, machines that roar when the key turns, that push against gravity with brute force. But even as you test them, even as the air shudders with their power, you know they are only shadows of something greater. Because what you saw in the sky, the silent light, the craft that moved without sound, without wings, none of this explains it. None of this comes close. Still, you build, because building is the only way to reach it. Neighbors whisper about you, the boy with the jet-powered bicycle, the one who mounted a rocket engine to a car, the one who lights up the night with strange fire. They laugh, they shake their heads, but part of them is unsettled, because Tantowan, the things you build are not just toys. They hum with a strange inevitability, as though guided by hands that are not entirely your own. You don't deny it. When the designs come to you, they come fast, furious, too perfect to be coincidence. Scribbles on scrap paper at midnight, calculations that feel remembered rather than learned. Patterns that do not belong to your world, yet pour through your hands as though whispered by something unseen. Faster. Push faster. Gravity is not what you think. You will see beyond the veil. One evening, as the desert wind slips through your window, you fall asleep at your workbench. Your head rests against blueprints smudged with graphite and oil, and in that half-dream, half-waking state, the vision arrives again. You are inside a chamber, metallic and seamless. The air hums with vibration, pressing against your bones. In the center, a machine sits on a platform, a craft that glimmers with a dull silver sheen. It is round, smooth, curved in ways that feel both alien and inevitable. It does not roar. It does not burn. It simply exists, weightless, waiting. A voice flows into your thoughts, clear as water, soft as breath. Not fuel, not fire, field. The word echoes, vibrating through you like a key in a lock. Bend space, not fight it. You reach out to touch the craft, but the surface ripples beneath your hand like liquid metal. Light bends around your fingertips. The hum grows louder, and just as you feel yourself pulled inside, the vision shatters. You wake, gasping, your workbench scattered with tools, your skin still buzzing with that impossible vibration. The dream changes everything. You stop thinking about combustion. You stop chasing fire and explosion. Instead, you chase silence. Grace, the kind of movement you saw in the sky, the kind of hum you felt in your chest. You begin experimenting in ways no one taught you. Magnetic fields, strange alloys, shapes that defy conventional logic. Some nights, the air around you seems to flicker faintly as you test, a shimmer just at the edge of vision. It is not success, not yet. But it is closer, closer than you've ever been. And always as you work, the whispers return. You are following correctly. You remember what you have not yet learned. The machines will open the door. But obsession is never quiet. Your projects draw attention. Strangers linger at the edge of your street, watching. Cars idle longer than they should. Phones click with echoes when you lift them. You tell yourself it is nothing, paranoia born of exhaustion, yet the feeling does not leave. One night, as you drive your modified car through empty streets, you catch a glimpse in the rearview mirror. Headlights, far too close. A black vehicle, silent, following without hesitation. No logos, no plates, just presence. Your stomach knots. You take a turn. It follows. Another. It follows. You press the accelerator, the engine roaring beneath you, and for a moment you almost forget your fear, because the power of machines has always been your shield. But when you finally glance back, the road is empty. No headlights, no car, only silence. Only the faint echo of a whisper. They are watching too. The machines grow larger, louder, more dangerous. You mount engines onto frames too small to hold them. You push vehicles until they rattle apart beneath you. You chase the impossible with every bolt and spark. But even as you push forward, the memory of that dream hangs in your mind. The silent craft, the bending light, the word, field. It is not combustion. It is not power as you know it. It is something else, something waiting beneath the skin of the world, and you cannot stop until you touch it. Sometimes you wonder if you are building for yourself at all. Late at night when the hum of machines fades and you are left in the quiet, You feel it, that subtle pressure at the back of your mind, the presence of something just beyond, as if the hands guiding you are not entirely human, as if curiosity is not the only force driving you. We gave you the fire. Now you must build the flame. You drift to sleep one night with a wrench in your hand, and the dream returns sharper than before. The chamber, the craft, the hum, but this time you are inside it. The walls curve around you like liquid silver. Panels glow faintly, though you cannot see their source. The air is thick, charged, as though gravity itself bends in subtle waves. You sit at the center, and the hum deepens, wrapping around your chest, pulling at your skin. The floor seems to fall away, though you do not move. The chamber tilts, though it remains perfectly still. The craft is not flying. The craft is redefining stillness. You understand nothing, yet you feel everything. And then the voice comes again, calm, certain. This is how the sky is broken. You wake trembling. Your garage feels smaller than ever. Your machines clatter and groan like children's toys. You stare at them, at the smoke and fire they produce, and for the first time, you feel frustration deeper than words, because you know now, what you build is not enough. It will never be enough. Not until you touch the silence. Not until you build the impossible. Not until you step into a machine that bends the sky itself. But the world is watching. The neighbors, the shadows, the ones who linger where they should not. You can feel them tightening around you, as if your curiosity is no longer yours alone. And though you cannot yet prove it, though you cannot yet name it, you know the truth with a clarity that chills you to the bone. You are building towards something forbidden, and forbidden things are never built in peace. Soon, the whisper cuts through the silence like a blade. Soon, you will see what waits below. You dream of sand. Not the kind that slips through your fingers on summer beaches, but the endless kind. Vast and unbroken, stretching farther than the eye can bear, shimmering beneath a pale and merciless sky. The grains shift beneath your feet as you walk, yet there is no wind, no sound, no movement, only silence. The silence is heavy, pressing, alive. It weighs upon your shoulders, pressing into your chest until every breath feels stolen. You look around, searching for signs of life, an insect, a lizard, the distant flutter of wings, but there is nothing. The desert is empty, or so it pretends to be. You feel it before you see it, the subtle vibration rising from beneath the ground. At first it feels like your own pulse echoing back at you. Then it deepens, steady and low, like a hidden heartbeat buried in the stone. The desert is not empty. The desert is waiting. And in the silence, a voice whispers through your skull. We called you here. When you wake, the dream clings like heat. The smell of dust lingers in your nose. The dryness cracks your lips, though your room is cool and damp from the night. You blink at the ceiling, but the vision remains vivid, refusing to dissolve like ordinary dreams. The desert wants you. You know it as surely as you know your own name. It begins as a pull, subtle and invisible. When maps of Nevada catch your eye, your stomach knots with recognition. When you read about military testing grounds, about bases hidden in the sand, something inside you stirs. The lines on the map are meaningless to most, but to you, they feel alive. And at night, when the stars shine brightest, you swear they lean lower over the western horizon, beckoning you closer. The desert's silence has become your siren call. The first time you travel toward it, the world changes. Roads stretch straight into forever, lined with nothing but stone and brush. The air grows thinner, hotter, sharper against your skin. The hum of your car engine feels small compared to the endless void pressing in around you. And yet, you feel watched. Every mile deeper into the barren land carries that weight, the sense that unseen eyes are tracking your movement, following your breath. You roll down the window, and the desert wind slaps your face with heat. It carries no bird song, no rustle of leaves, only the sharp hiss of emptiness. But beneath that emptiness, you sense it. The hum, that hidden heartbeat. It grows stronger the farther you go. At night, you stop by the roadside. The sky here is unlike anywhere else. No street lights, no city glow. only the universe stretched raw and infinite above you. Stars burned so bright they hurt your eyes. The Milky Way spills across the heavens like a river of fire. You sit on the hood of your car, staring upward, and time dissolves. You do not know if minutes or hours pass. You only know that you are small, impossibly small, and yet chosen. Because in the vastness of that sky, something chooses to reveal itself to you. A light. Faint at first, hovering low over the horizon, then brighter, closer, sharper. It moves with impossible grace, darting, halting, gliding in ways that mock everything you've ever learned about flight. Your breath freezes, your skin prickles, and as you stare, the voice returns, soft as the desert wind, cold as stone. Closer, come closer. You shiver, though the night air is still hot. You cannot tell if the voice comforts you or warns you. Perhaps both. The desert does not release you after that. You return again and again, unable to resist. By day, its heat scorches your skin, a relentless fire that strips away the world you left behind. By night, its silence wraps around you like a cocoon, pressing you deeper into its mysteries. And each time, you feel the hum stronger. Each time, the lights draw nearer. Each time, the whispers grow louder. Beneath stone, beneath silence. We wait where the world does not look. Do not fear the hidden. There are nights when you are not alone. You park on the outskirts of the desert, where roads turn to dust, and you wait with friends who don't quite believe. They laugh nervously, sipping from cans, watching the sky half-heartedly. But you know better. You know the desert does not reveal itself to everyone, and then, just as their laughter swells, the light comes. It rises from the mountains, silent and smooth, glowing with a pale fire that seems to pulse in rhythm with your heartbeat. Your friends fall silent. One curses under his breath. Another fumbles for binoculars. But you don't move. You can't. The light holds you. You know it. You recognize it. And though your friends whisper in fear, though their voices tremble with disbelief, you feel something different. You feel chosen. The desert becomes your teacher. It strips away illusion. It silences the noise of the world until only truth remains. Every time you step into its emptiness, you feel closer. Closer to them, closer to understanding, closer to the machines that haunted your dreams. You wander deeper, walking alone under moonlight, the sand cool beneath your feet, the stars sharp above your head. You lose track of direction, of time, of self. And always the whispers guide you. Not here, deeper. Not now, soon. The silence will open. One night you stumble upon something strange. Half buried in sand lies a fragment of metal, curved and seamless. It does not rust, it does not dent. It gleams faintly under the moon, though your flashlight reflects nothing back. Your hand trembles as you lift it. The metal feels warm, alive, humming faintly in your palm. For a moment, you swear it shifts, soft as clay, before hardening again. And then, a surge of thought not your own fills your skull. You touch what is forbidden. Your heart races. You drop the fragment, and it vanishes into the sand as if it were never there. The desert swallows its secrets, but you cannot unfeel them. You know now what the silence hides. The base, the machines, the watchers in the shadows. All of it waits beneath Nevada's ridges, locked behind stone and secrecy. You are not supposed to know. You are not supposed to see. But the desert has called you, and you have answered. And when the call comes again, you know you will not resist, because this is no longer curiosity. This is destiny. Soon, the doors will open. The whisper lingers as you fall asleep beneath the endless stars. Soon, you will step inside. You dream of papers, not ordinary papers, the kind that crinkle beneath careless hands, but heavy sheets, stamped and sealed, edges sharp enough to cut skin. They appear in stacks upon a desk you do not recognize, glowing faintly beneath the pale hum of a flickering light. Your fingers reach for one, but the letters on the page twist and dissolve, reshaping into symbols you do not know. The ink bleeds like liquid shadow, crawling across the paper in spirals and lines that burn themselves into your vision. And then the whisper comes, coiled and steady. Sign, and the path will open. Your chest tightens. You do not want to sign. You do not even know what it means. But your hand moves anyway, guided by a force not entirely your own. The pen scratches, the seal stamps, and the silence thickens until it swallows you whole. You wake gasping, drenched in sweat. And though the dream fades, the meaning does not. Something is coming. Something that will change everything. The desert has not let you go. Its silence clings to you, tugging at the edges of your thoughts even when you are far from its sands. You go about your life, your machines, your work, your tinkering, but the weight of its call hangs over you. You sense it in the air, in the way the horizon seems sharper than it should, in the way shadows linger longer than expected. It's as though the desert is waiting for you to take the next step. And then, the knock comes. It is not dramatic, not thunderous. It is soft, almost polite. A gentle rap at your door on a night when the wind is still and the stars gleam sharp through your window. You hesitate before opening it. On the other side stands a man you don't know, his suit pressed, his face unreadable. His eyes linger too long, measuring you as though you are not a person but a problem to be solved. He does not introduce himself. He does not need to. You already know who he represents. And though his words are ordinary, carried in the low tone of practiced calm, they hit you like the echo of your dreams. "There's an opportunity," he says, "a project you might be suited for, highly technical, highly classified." He doesn't mention the desert. He doesn't need to. You feel it in your chest, the hum, the pull. This is the call made flesh. The days blur after that. Tests, interviews, questions designed not to measure your knowledge, but your silence. Men in gray rooms watching your every move, sliding papers across the table for you to sign. Waivers, agreements, documents that promise your silence more than your service. You hold the pen, and the memory of the dream comes rushing back, ink bleeding, signatures binding, whispers pressing into your skull. Sign, and the path will open. And so, your hand moves. The seal stamps. The silence deepens. The journey begins before you even know its destination. A car collects you under cover of night, its windows tinted black. The road unspools beneath you, endless and empty, lit only by the cold glow of moonlight. You sit in the back, heart pounding, hands damp against your knees. The driver does not speak. He does not look at you. You are alone with your thoughts, alone with the hum building once again in your chest. The desert waits. You feel it before you see it. The land flattens, stretches, sharpens. The air grows thinner, drier, charged with something invisible. And then, at last, you glimpse the horizon, mountains crouched like shadows, ridges etched sharp against the stars. The car turns toward them. Checkpoints, fences, lights that pierce the dark. Men with weapons watch you without expression as the car rolls past. Their eyes follow you, cold and precise, as though they already know the weight of what you carry. You feel the contract pressing in your pocket, the ink burning against your skin. No turning back. The whisper is louder now, as though the desert itself has leaned closer. The doors have opened. They take you inside. Not into a grand hall, not into a chamber of revelation, but into gray corridors lined with fluorescent lights. The air smells of disinfectant and metal. The silence hums with restrained power, the kind of silence that waits, watching, breathing. They lead you through security after security, each more invasive than the last. Eyes scan you, machines hum around you. Signatures are checked, until at last, you sit in another room. A desk, another man, another stack of papers. The man looks at you with the stillness of stone. He slides the folder across the table. "Your assignment," he says. You open it. The words blur at first. They feel unreal, like another dream. Research facility, propulsion systems, advanced technology, S4. Your stomach knots. You do not know why, but the name strikes something deep within you, as though you've heard it before in whispers beneath the desert wind. S4. beneath stone, beneath silence. You want to ask questions. You want to demand clarity, to know what lies waiting in the dark. But the air in the room is heavy. The man's stare sharpens, warning you without words. This is not a place for questions. Not yet. You leave the building with a silence heavier than when you entered. The car waits for you again, its engine low, its driver still faceless. You climb inside, the desert stretching out like a shadow around you. Through the window, the stars shimmer, brighter than before, too bright. Watching. You, Leo, in your head against the glass, and the hum returns. Stronger now. Steady. Alive. And in that hum, the voice comes once more. The path is open. The desert will show you what it hides. You close your eyes, and the dream returns, sharp, insistent. The hangar carved into stone, the metallic shapes half buried in shadow, the hum of machines that defy gravity itself. You see them waiting for you, patient and silent. And when you wake, the dream does not fade, because now it is no longer a dream. It is your future. You dream of doors, endless doors, carved not from wood or steel, but from shadow and stone. They rise from the desert floor like monuments, silent and seamless, their edges glowing faintly with light you cannot name. One after another, they stand before you, and each time you step forward, another opens. But behind every door lies the same thing, a corridor without end. White walls, humming lights, floors polished smooth as glass. You walk until your legs ache, but the corridor never changes. The hum grows louder, filling your chest until it feels like another heartbeat. And then, from somewhere deep within the walls, the whisper comes. You are inside now. You freeze. No way back. The lights above flicker, the corridor darkens, and you wake, breathless, with the desert pressing at your window. The journey begins before sunrise. You are collected in silence, driven once again through the sleeping roads of Nevada. The night air tastes of dust, dry and sharp, and the stars overhead burn with impossible clarity. They seem too close, as though leaning down to watch. The car hums steadily as it turns off the highway, rolling into roads that do not appear on any map. The desert deepens around you, dark ridges crouched against the horizon, shadows stretching long and thin beneath the fading moon. You feel it again. The hum, the vibration beneath the earth, steady and alive, and with it, the whisper. The stone opens for you. The mountains loom closer. Their ridges rise like jagged teeth cutting the sky. You watch the desert floor dissolve into gravel, then into dirt, then into paths carved only for those who are allowed to see them. The car stops at a checkpoint. Guards in shadowed helmets peer through tinted windows, their faces unreadable. They hold rifles close, but their eyes linger longer than their weapons. You feel them measuring you, weighing your worth. A badge is scanned. A gate rises, and the desert swallows you whole. You expect to see buildings, towers, concrete, the evidence of man's hand upon the stone. But you see nothing. Only sand, only rock, only the barren ridges glowing faintly in the dawn. The car winds deeper into the mountains, slipping between walls of stone that seem to close in on every side. Your stomach knots with the sense that you are being buried alive. And then, without warning, you see it. A face of rock, smoothed unnaturally, split with a seam too perfect to be natural. A line where no line should be. The car slows, the seam widens. Stone slides against stone, silent and seamless, until the mountain itself opens like a wound. You feel your breath catch. You are entering the hidden base. Inside, the air changes. It smells different, sterile, metallic, humming with the faint tang of ozone. The light is artificial, pale and unyielding. The stone walls are carved away, replaced with steel and glass, polished smooth until no trace of the desert remains. The tunnel stretches deep, swallowing the car. You pass through checkpoint after checkpoint, doors hissing open and closed. the silence broken only by the steady echo of engines. Your pulse pounds. It feels like you are falling into the earth itself. They lead you into the heart of the base. Corridors stretch in every direction, white walls humming faintly, lights too bright to cast shadows. Men and women pass by in silence, their faces hard, their steps precise. No one greets you. No one smiles. You are a stranger in their world. A guest. A prisoner. A witness. It is hard to tell which. You are shown a small office, a desk, a stack of documents, more papers to sign. The ink feels heavier this time, as though every stroke buries you deeper. Deeper. Deeper still. The whisper slides into your thoughts as your pen moves. Once inside, the desert does not let go. Later, they escort you down a corridor that bends sharply into the stone. The walls grow thicker here, lined with doors sealed tight. No signs, no markings, only silence. At the end of the hall, you see them, 2 guards standing before a door larger than the rest. Their eyes flick to you as your escort presents a badge. For a moment, time hangs still, the weight of decision pressing against your chest. Then the door hisses open. The air inside is colder, charged. Your skin prickles as though touched by unseen static. And then you see it. The hangar. It is vast, carved into the belly of the mountain, its ceiling disappearing into shadow. Lights glow dimly along the walls, reflecting off the curved surfaces that rest in silence at the center of the room. Your breath falters. There are machines here. Not planes. Not helicopters. Not anything built with rivets and wings. Discs, metallic, seamless. They sit upon the hangar floor as if resting, waiting, their surfaces dull but alive with the faint shimmer of reflected light. For a moment, your mind rejects it. You tell yourself they must be mock-ups, experiments, prototypes. But the silence in the room tells you otherwise. You are standing before machines not of this earth, and you know it. The hum is deafening no, you, not in your ears, but in your chest, in your bones. It thrums through you with steady rhythm, vibrating through marrow, through thought, through dream. And then the whisper comes again, clearer than ever before. You are inside. You are chosen to see. You cannot breathe. You cannot look away. The discs loom before you, impossibly still, impossibly silent. Their presence fills the room like gravity itself, bending everything toward them. For the first time, you feel the weight of the desert's silence revealed. This is what it has hidden. This is what you were called to. Your escort says nothing. He waits, expression unreadable, as you stare, as your mind reels, as your heartbeat pounds with fear and awe. You want to step closer, to touch, to confirm they are real. But your feet remain frozen, because deep down, you already know they are. And the truth of it terrifies you. Time dissolves, minutes or hours pass, you cannot tell. The silence stretches, wrapping itself around you until you feel suffocated. At last, your escort speaks. His voice is calm, flat, devoid of wonder. This is where you'll be working. The words fall like stone into water. You are inside now. There is no way back. That night, when you finally lie down in the narrow bed they've given you, the whisper returns. Not faint, not broken, strong, steady, clear. You have entered the silence. Soon you will learn how the sky is broken. You close your eyes, but the image does not leave. The discs, the hangar, the desert's hidden heart. And you know that tomorrow, the true secrets will begin to unfold. You dream of metal that breathes, not cold steel, not rusted iron, but something alive, smooth and seamless, like liquid frozen in mid-motion. It hums in your hands as you touch it, pulsing with rhythm, like a slow and steady heart. The more you stare, the more you realize it is staring back. Its surface curves in ways your eyes can't follow, bending light, warping shadow. The dream darkens. The metal opens like a mouth. A void yawns before you, swallowing every thought you have ever known. And in the hollow of that silence, a voice curls into your skull. Do not fear the vessel, fear the silence it carries. You wake, gasping, your skin damp, your heart thundering like machinery that isn't your own. But when you rise and look at the mirror, you already know. Today is the day you will see it again. Not in a dream, not in a whisper, but with your own eyes. They bring you back to the hangar. The corridors are the same, sterile, humming, endless, but your steps are heavier now. You know what waits beyond the sealed doors. You have seen its shadow, glimpsed its impossible stillness. Today, there will be no shadows. Today, the silence will open. The door slides wide, and the hangar yawns before you once again. It takes your breath, even now. The vastness of the chamber carved into the stone, the dim glow of the walls, the way sound itself seems smothered beneath the weight of what rests inside. And there it is, the saucer, closer now. It sits on its platform, pale and seamless, the curved edges reflecting faint light like ripples on dark water. The air around it feels different, thicker, charged, alive with a subtle vibration that presses against your chest. You step closer, though every part of you trembles. From here, the details strike you. The surface is not dull metal, not painted steel. It is something else, something that shifts subtly as you look at it, catching light in mad ways that defy explanation. At times, it seems matte, dead, absorbing everything. At others, it shimmers faintly, as though the hangar lights bend toward it, captured and released at will. You circle slowly, your breath shallow. No seams, no bolts, no rivets. The saucer looks grown, not built, as if it was born rather than assembled. And beneath the awe, the whisper stirs again. It is older than you. It is not yours to hold. Your guide says nothing. He watches as you approach, as though waiting to see if you are swallowed whole by what you witness. His silence is sharp, deliberate, as though words would fracture the moment. You place a trembling hand against the air just above the craft, and though you do not touch it, you feel it. The hum, deeper now, stronger. A rhythm that pulses into your skin, slipping into your bones. Your breath falters. Your heart stutters. For one awful second, you cannot tell if the beating in your chest is yours, or the saucer's. Alive. The whisper coils through your thoughts, low and steady. It is alive. You step back, heart hammering, but the pull does not release you. The saucer holds your gaze as though it knows you, as though it has been waiting for you all along. The guide clears his throat softly, breaking the silence. Inside, he says. Your stomach knots. You turn to him, but his face is unreadable. He gestures again, simple and firm, toward the platform. You climb the steps. The entrance is small, a doorway etched into the curved surface, though you had not seen it before. The lines appear only as you approach, as if the saucer itself chooses when to reveal them. The air thickens as you step closer, vibrating with unseen pressure. Your ears pop, your vision swims for a moment, and the whisper sharpens. Enter. Remember. You step inside. The chamber swallows you. At first you expect machinery, wires, panels, switches, but the interior is nothing like that. It is smooth, curved, seamless, just like the outside. The walls glow faintly, with no source of light you can see. The air hums, soft but constant, pressing into your chest like invisible hands. You run your fingers along the wall, expecting coldness, hardness. Instead, it feels warm, pliant, as though the surface knows you are touching it. The guide watches from behind. No controls, he says. His voice sounds distant, muffled by the hum. Nothing you'd recognize. It operates differently. But you already know. Because as you stand there, the whisper deepens into clarity. Field, not fuel. Bend, not burn. Gravity itself becomes the engine. Your skin prickles, your breath catches. This is not technology, this is something else. You step into the center of the chamber. A platform rises from the floor, circular and smooth, no seams, no edges. You stare, uncertain, and as your gaze lingers, the platform shifts, growing faint symbols along its edge, glowing softly, pulsing with rhythm. You do not know the language, and yet, you do. Somehow, in some deep place of memory that does not belong to you, the shapes feel familiar. They whisper meaning into your mind without words. Up, down, open, closed. Simple, terrifying, absolute. You close your eyes, and the hum fills you whole. In that moment, the walls dissolve. You see not the chamber, not the hangar, but the stars. Sharp, brilliant, endless. The saucer moves, not in the air, not with wings, not with thrust. It folds space around itself, slipping forward without moving at all. The stars bend, the sky ripples, and the hum carries you through the void, as though gravity itself has become a wave you can ride. It is silent, it is impossible, it is real. This is how the sky is broken. The whisper drips into your thoughts, heavy and final. You stagger back, gasping. The vision dissolves. The chamber is whole again, silent and seamless. The guide watches, saying nothing, but his eyes tell you he knows. He knows what you felt. He has seen it before, and now you have too. When you finally step out of the saucer, the hangar feels different, the air heavier, the silence deeper. The discs are no longer just objects. They are alive, waiting, watching. You feel their gaze on you as you descend the platform, as though they know you touched their secrets, even if only for a moment. The guide's voice is calm. Tomorrow, the briefing begins. But you barely hear him, because the whisper is still with you, louder than ever, coiling around your every thought. You have entered the vessel. Soon, you will enter the truth. You dream of falling, not the frantic plummet of nightmares, but a slow descent, weightless, endless, as though the sky has released its hold on you. The world tilts and dissolves beneath your feet. You do not crash. You do not land. You simply drift, suspended in silence. And in that silence, a whisper curls through your thoughts, soft and heavy. Gravity is not a prison. It is a key. You reach for something, anything, but your hand closes only on air. The stars bend, rippling like water, and your body moves without moving. The dream fades, but when you open your eyes in the gray morning light, the words remain. A key. Gravity is a key. The day begins in silence. You are escorted through narrow corridors, the hum of unseen machines pressing faintly at your chest. The air tastes metallic, sterile. Guards pass without expression. Scientists avert their eyes. Every step carries you deeper into the heart of secrets never meant to be shared. At last, you are guided into a briefing room. It is small, windowless, lit by harsh lamps overhead. A table waits, and upon it, papers, diagrams, sketches, curves and symbols that echo the shapes you saw inside the saucer, drawn in human ink, but carrying alien rhythm. The man across from you speaks in a voice that feels rehearsed, his tone clipped and steady, but you barely hear him, because as he talks, the diagrams pull at you, whispering beneath his words. He calls it gravity amplification, field propulsion, element 115, but the whispers call it something else. The bending of the river, the folding of the sky. You stare at the diagrams. They show reactors not of fire, but of silence, not fuel, but field. Curved lines loop into one another, suggesting control of something you have never seen controlled. Arrows bend space itself, folding distance into nothing, and as you trace them with your eyes, your mind bends with them. You remember the saucer's hum, the vibration pressing into your chest, the way the stars rippled in your vision when you closed your eyes. It all fits. It is not power in the way you've known it, Not thrust, not combustion. It is control of the fundamental pull itself. Gravity, not as law, but as instrument. The man's voice drones on, heavy with jargon and equations. He does not speak with awe, only with instruction. To him, this is work. To you, it is revelation. He speaks of reactors fueled by a substance you've never touched, a metal not of Earth's soil. Element 115. It bends the field, he says. It feeds the reactor, creates a distortion, a bubble, a controlled wave of space-time itself. He speaks as though describing an engine, yet the words feel closer to magic. Not fuel, not fire, field. The whisper is stronger now, weaving between his words, filling the empty spaces his science cannot explain. You press your hand against the table to steady yourself. The hum, you can feel it even here. They take you back to the hangar. Once more, the saucers rest in silence, pale and impossible. You are led not inside this time, but around them, shown the underside, the strange protrusion at the base. A reactor. No pipes, no exhaust, no fuel lines. Only a core, hidden within, that bends the sky itself. The guide's voice is calm. The field amplifies. It creates a distortion, gravity pulled, focused, redirected. He pauses, his eyes on you. Not propulsion as you know it, control of the curve itself. But the whisper speaks louder than him. They do not move through space. They move space itself. You tremble, your breath shallow. For the first time, you understand why they defy explanation, why they dart, stop, vanish. They are not breaking laws. They are rewriting them. You lie awake that night, staring at the ceiling of your narrow room. The hum lingers in your bones, even away from the hangar. Your dreams bleed into waking thoughts, images of folded skies and bent horizons. And when you close your eyes, the vision sharpens. You are inside the saucer again. The hum deepens. The chamber tilts, though it does not move. Space itself bends around you, rippling like fabric. The stars shift, sliding closer, farther, closer again. Your stomach twists, though your body has not moved at all. This is travel without distance. The whisper slides into your thoughts like smoke. This is how we cross the void. Days blur into one another. Briefings, diagrams, silent hours in the hangar, your eyes locked on the saucer's seamless surface. You listen, you learn, but more than that, you feel. The hum grows familiar, a second heartbeat. The field presses deeper into you, shaping your thoughts, bending your dreams. The scientists around you treat it like data, equations to solve, but you know better. It is not only data, it is alive. You feel it watching you, responding to you, whispering to you when no one else is listening. Curiosity bends the field. Belief amplifies the wave. We gave you the key. And yet, fear lingers. Because every revelation comes with shadow. You notice the glances exchanged between guards, the way some scientists vanish from briefings, their names never spoken again. You hear the low mutters about security clearances, about compartmentalization. You realize you are not free here. You are inside the secret now, but the secret also owns you. No turning back. The whisper is colder tonight, sharper. Once you hold gravity, it holds you. One evening, you are led deeper than before, down a corridor lined with reinforced doors, into a chamber where the air itself feels heavier. There, you see it, the reactor, a sphere, seamless and perfect, resting upon a platform. It glows faintly, though no light escapes it. The air around it bends subtly, as if the itself leans toward its pull. The man beside you speaks softly, the core, fueled by the element, the heart of it all. But you barely hear him. The whisper drowns his voice. Do not touch. Not yet. Your hand trembles as you fight the urge to reach for it, because deep down you know the truth. This is not only a machine, this is a seed, and whatever planted it did not come from Earth. That night, you cannot sleep. The hum presses harder. The whispers are louder, layered and fractured, as though more than one voice speaks at once. The field remembers you. The gravity bends for you. Soon, you will learn the cost. You turn in your bed, heart pounding, knowing that whatever comes next will not only change what you understand, it will change who you are. Because gravity is no longer just a force, it is a secret. And secrets always demand a price. You dream of a sky that bends, not a gentle arc of stars, not the steady sweep of constellations across midnight, but a sky that folds in on itself. Stars warp like reflections in water, curving, stretching, collapsing into impossible shapes. And within that distortion, a vessel rises, silent, seamless, gleaming with a light that is not light. It hovers above you, motionless yet alive, the air trembling in invisible waves. Your chest tightens. You feel yourself pulled upward, not lifted, but unmoored. Gravity itself loosens its grip. The earth slips away. And then the whisper comes, deep and resonant. This is how the impossible breathes. You wake, gasping in the dark. The dream dissolves, but the feeling remains, the sense that you are about to witness it for real. They take you outside. It is night again, the desert stretching endless and black beneath the stars. The air is sharp, cool, carrying the scent of sand and dust. No sounds of life disturb the stillness. No crickets, no birds, no wind, only silence. The hangar doors groan open behind you, spilling pale light onto the sand. And then you see it. The saucer rolling forward, gliding silently from its hidden cradle into the open air. Your throat tightens. It is one thing to see it sleeping in shadow, resting like an artifact. It is another to see it move. The saucer settles upon the desert floor. Its curved body gleams faintly beneath the starlight, absorbing and bending it at once. For a moment, it looks unreal, a trick of vision, a mirage conjured by the desert's silence. But then the hum begins. Not loud, not violent, low, steady, alive. It presses against your chest, rattles in your bones, settles into your heartbeat. The air thickens, charged with invisible weight. Sand shivers faintly at your feet. The sky bends tonight. The whisper coils through your skull. Watch closely. Do not look away. The saucer race. Not like an aircraft, not with thrust or flame or wings. It lifts without resistance, without effort, as though the ground has simply released it. One moment it rests upon the earth, and the next it floats silently above it. Your breath falters, it hangs there, a perfect stillness against the starry sky. No wobble, no drift, absolute, and then movement, sharp, impossible. The saucer darts upward, stops, slides sideways, halts again. Each shift is sudden, clean, instant, as though distance itself has been rearranged. Your stomach lurches watching it. The human mind was not built for this. Planes arc, helicopters drift. But this is precision without effort, speed without momentum. It is not flying, it is something else. The scientists around you murmur, their voices low, clinical, detached. They speak of field vectors, distortion bubbles, amplification systems, but you cannot hear them, because the whispers drown them out. Not thrust, not flight, fold. The vessel bends the river of space and swims where others drown. This is not yours, yet it lets you see. You grip the railing in front of you, your knuckles white. The saucer hovers, tilts, then shoots skyward in utter silence. It moves faster than your eyes can track, vanishing into the black. For one breathless heartbeat, the sky is empty. And then, there it is again, lower now, near the horizon, glowing faintly as it slides back toward the hangar, as though it never left. Your pulse races. You know, in this moment, you are seeing what few have ever seen. Proof, revelation. the impossible alive before your eyes. And yet, something about it unsettles you, because the way it moves, the silence, the suddenness, the folding of space itself, it feels unnatural, inhuman. You wonder, with a chill down your spine, if the vessel is not simply controlled, but alive. And if it is alive, what does it think of you? The test ends. The saucer drifts back toward the hangar, its hum fading, its presence shrinking into silence. The scientists scatter, guards resume their posts, the desert returns to stillness. But you cannot move. You remain frozen, staring at the empty sky where the impossible has danced. You have glimpsed it. The whisper breathes, softer now, curling around your thoughts. But to glimpse is not to understand. The stars above shimmer, sharp and countless, and for the first time, you feel them watching. Not as distant suns, but as eyes. Eyes that know you have seen too much. You are led back inside. Corridors stretch endless once more, lights buzzing faintly overhead. The hum of the reactor lingers in your bones, refusing to fade. But your thoughts are not on the base, not on the walls, not on the silence. They are still outside, beneath the desert sky. They are still with the saucer, still with the impossible. And as you lie in your narrow bed, staring at the ceiling, the vision comes again, clearer, sharper. The saucer rising, the sky bending, the stars folding like paper. This is only the beginning. The whisper threads into your dreams. Next, you will see where it leads. You dream of footsteps that are not yours. They echo faintly across concrete floors, following you through long corridors that stretch without end. Every turn you take, they follow. Every pause you make, they stop. The air is thick, the walls white and seamless, and though you try to run, your legs will not carry you fast enough. You call out into the silence, but no voice answers. Only the footsteps. Always one step behind. And then the whisper cuts through the air, sharp as a blade. They are watching. They always were. You wake with a jolt, sweat cold against your skin, and the silence of the room feels heavier than before. The days after the saucer test feel different. At first you try to carry the awe with you. You remember the craft hovering in silence, darting across the desert sky, bending the laws of nature as though they were nothing but suggestions. You try to relive that wonder, to wrap yourself in the dream of it. But the silence does not let you. It grows heavier, colder. You begin to notice things you did not before. A guard whose eyes linger too long. A colleague who stops speaking mid-sentence when you enter the room. A phone that clicks faintly on the line before the call begins. Small things, ordinary things, but together they press into you like a weight. The shadows are watching. At night, the desert no longer feels like a sanctuary. You step outside beneath the stars, hoping for comfort in their endless glow, but instead you feel exposed, vulnerable. The horizon seems sharper, the ridges darker, the silence deeper. The wind carries no sound but your own breath, and yet you know you are not alone. Somewhere beyond the ridges, eyes are waiting. Somewhere in the darkness, engines idle without headlights. And in the back of your mind, the whisper comes again, quieter now, almost like a warning. Careful, they see what you see. The paranoia deepens. One night, as you drive home, headlights appear in your mirror. A car follows at distance, unmarked, steady, never passing, never slowing. No matter how many turns you take, it remains there, shadowing your every move. You press the accelerator, your modified engine roaring beneath you, and at last the lights vanish. The road is empty again. But when you step into your house, your hands still tremble. The silence inside is no longer comforting. It feels invaded. The shadows followed you home. Even within the base, the air grows heavier. You notice how often people vanish. A man you briefed with one day is gone the next. His name is not spoken again. His desk is cleared. The others act as though he never existed. You ask where he went, and the response is only silence. The message is clear. Questions are dangerous. The shadows feed on curiosity. Your dreams grow darker. No longer visions of stars and folded skies, but visions of watchers. Tall figures silhouetted against the desert horizon, their faces hidden, their eyes unblinking. Cars idling with no drivers, footsteps circling your bed as you lie frozen in sleep. The whispers change too, no longer invitations, but warnings. Do not speak. Do not trust. The desert listens. You wake each time with your chest tight, your breath shallow, as though someone has been standing over you in the dark. And sometimes you think perhaps someone has. One night the proof comes. You hear it, the crunch of gravel outside your window, steady and deliberate. You freeze, your heart pounding, ears straining in the silence. The sound pauses, then resumes, moving slowly around the house. You do not move, you barely breathe. And then, nothing, only silence. When you finally gather the courage to look outside, there is nothing there. No car, no footprints, no sign at all. The desert swallows its shadows as easily as it swallows secrets. But you know what you heard, and you know they were there. The next day, you are escorted into another briefing. The men at the table do not look at you as they speak. Their voices are calm, measured, but their words are not a lesson. They are a warning. Your work is classified. Loose words carry consequences. Security is absolute. You nod, you sign, you keep your face steady, but inside, your stomach twists. Because you understand now, they are not only showing you secrets, they are watching if you can be trusted with them, and trust here is fragile. One mistake, one word too many, and you will vanish like the others. That night, the whisper returns. The shadows are not only theirs. Some of us still watch you too. For the first time, you do not know if the voice is comfort or threat. You lie awake, staring at the ceiling, the weight of both sides pressing into you, the government watching in silence, the beings you glimpsed in visions whispering through your dreams, and you caught between them, between two kinds of shadows. The next test is scheduled soon. You know you will see the saucer rise again, see the impossible bend of gravity, the silence of machines that are not machines. But this time, you no longer look forward with only wonder. This time, you carry fear. Because you know now, every glimpse of the impossible comes with a price, and the shadows are waiting to collect it. You dream of horizons that glow, not with the warm light of dawn, not with the fading fire of sunset, but with an otherworldly shimmer, pale, steady, alive. The desert stretches endless beneath your feet, but at its edge, the horizon burns with colors that do not belong to Earth. Violet halos, silver arcs, blue fire that ripples without heat. The sky is silent. The stars remain above, sharp and countless, but the horizon itself breathes. You take a step forward, and the whisper comes. You should not bring them here. Another step. Some secrets do not forgive sharing. The light brightens until it blinds you, swallowing the desert whole. And you wake, heart hammering, with the taste of dust on your lips. The days have grown heavier. The warnings linger. The footsteps, the glances, the voices of shadows that watch your every move. You know the risk of speaking, of bringing others into the circle of silence. And yet, the memory of the saucer rising beneath the desert sky gnaws at you. You cannot hold it inside anymore. The weight of wonder, the unbearable solitude of knowing, it presses against your chest until it becomes unbearable. What good is seeing the impossible if no one else believes you? What good is touching the truth if the world insists it is only a dream? You decide, against reason, against fear, against the whisper's warning. You will show them. It begins with whispers of your own, quiet words to friends you trust, spoken late at night, far from curious ears. There are lights, you tell them, out in the desert. You won't believe me unless you see. They laugh at first, nervous chuckles, the kind of laughter that hides doubt, but they agree. Curiosity is a fire you can spread, and soon it burns in them too. You promise them a night they will never forget, and silently you promise yourself something more. If they see it too, then you are not alone. The night arrives. You drive them out under the blanket of stars, deeper and deeper into Nevada's emptiness. The headlights cut across gravel and sand, carving fleeting tunnels of light before vanishing into the dark. The desert stretches infinite around you, ridges crouched like black giants against the horizon. The air is sharp, cool, carrying only silence. Inside the car, their voices tremble with excitement. They joke, they question, but beneath it all you hear it, the edge of fear. Because part of them already knows this is not just a game. Part of them already feels the weight of the desert. You arrive at the spot, a ridge overlooking the testing grounds, far enough to stay hidden, close enough to see. The desert floor below lies still and lifeless, painted silver by moonlight. You kill the engine. The world falls silent. The stars above are blindingly bright, spilling across the heavens in a river of fire. For a while, that is all there is. The desert, the stars, the waiting. Your friends shift uneasily. One whispers, "Are you sure?" You do not answer, because you feel it. The hum, deep, steady, rising from the ground itself. Your chest tightens. Your skin prickles. And then the light comes. At first, it is faint, a shimmer at the edge of the horizon, like a star that strayed too close to the earth. But then it grows, brighter, closer, sliding upward in silence. Your friends fall silent. Jokes die in their throats. All eyes fix on the impossible. The saucer rises. Its curved surface catches the moonlight, bending it into ripples. It hovers above the desert floor, silent, seamless, alive. For a heartbeat, it hangs motionless. Then it moves, a sudden dart across the sky, sharp and instant. A halt, a sideways slide, a downward drop. All in silence, all defying every law they thought unbreakable. One of your friends gasps. Another curses under his breath. You feel your pulse down, under in your chest. Not fear, not wonder, both, because you are watching the impossible and you are not alone anymore. The saucer begins its dance. It arcs high into the night, vanishes, reappears at the horizon. It tilts, hovers, darts with precision no human craft could mimic. Stars bend faintly around it, as though even light itself bows to its presence. And in your mind, the whisper comes again, sharper now. You should not have brought them. Your stomach knots. Your eyes flick toward the shadows of the ridge. For a moment, you think you see movement. Black cars crouched against the dark, silhouettes watching from below. But when you blink, they are gone. Only the saucer remains. The test ends as suddenly as it began. The saucer drifts downward, gliding in silence back toward the hidden hangar. The desert swallows its glow, returning once more to emptiness. The hum fades. The stars shine steady. Your friends erupt, voices trembling, words stumbling over one another. Did you see? That thing moved. It's not. There's no way. Their disbelief has shattered. Their world has changed, but so has yours. Because now you know for certain you are not the only one who has seen, and that means you are not the only one in danger. You drive them home in silence. The desert feels different now, closer, heavier, filled with unseen eyes. Every shadow along the road seems sharper. Every headlight in the mirror feels like a threat. Your friends try to speak, to make sense of what they witnessed, but their voices falter. Words are too small for what they saw. And you do not comfort them, because you know words will not save them. The desert does not forgive. The secret does not forget. That night, when you lie awake staring at the ceiling, the whisper returns, angrier now, colder. You broke the silence. They saw what was not theirs, and now the shadows will come. Your throat tightens, your chest feels heavy, you close your eyes but you cannot shut it out. The vision returns, black cars on EMP, tie roads, footsteps circling your house, eyes gleaming from the desert ridges. The lights you showed them were not only proof, they were a signal. And someone, something, has seen it too. You dream of headlights on an empty road. At first they seem distant, two pale orbs floating low against the desert horizon, steady, silent. You drive forward, the road stretching endless beneath the black sky. But the lights never change. They do not shrink. They do not grow. They simply remain. And then, slowly, they begin to follow. No sound of engines, no crunch of tires, just light pressing against the edges of your mirror. You turn down a side road, and still they follow. You stop, and still they wait. When you climb from the car, the desert wind sharp against your face. The road is empty. No lights, no cars, only silence. And in that silence, the whisper comes. They are here, always here. You wake, trembling, your skin cold though the room is warm. The dream fades, but the feeling does not. Since the night of the desert lights, the world has changed. Your friends speak less now, their voices lowered, their laughter gone. They do not joke about what they saw. They do not try to explain it. They only carry the weight of it, the memory too heavy for words. But you notice it in their eyes. The same fear, the same wonder, the same knowledge that what they witnessed was never meant for them. And you know it is your fault. You let them see. You opened the silence. And now the shadows have noticed. It begins subtly. A car parked too long at the end of your street. A stranger in a dark jacket watching from across a store. A phone that clicks faintly before a voice speaks. Small things, ordinary things, but they stack, one atop another, until the air around you feels crowded. You feel it in your bones. You are being followed. The first time it becomes undeniable, you are driving home. The desert night is still, the stars sharp above, the road empty except for you. But in your mirror, you see them, headlights far behind, steady, unblinking. At first you tell yourself, it's nothing, just another traveler on an empty road. But every turn you take, they follow. Every stop you make, they stop. You slow down, so do they. You speed up, their lights grow closer. Your throat tightens, sweat beads at your temple. The silence inside the car feels suffocating. At last you make a sudden turn, down a road too narrow, too broken for most cars. The engine roars beneath you, dust kicking into the night. You glance back, and the road is empty. No headlights, no car, only stars, only silence. But the silence is worse, because you know they were there, and you know they let you see them. The days blur. At work, you catch glimpses in the reflection of polished floors, dark figures in suits, faces hidden, watching. When you turn, they vanish. At home, the feeling grows heavier. The creak of floorboards when no one moves. The faint shuffle outside your window, too soft to be the wind. You lie awake, staring at the ceiling, your chest tight. And then, faintly, you hear it. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, circling your house. Your heart pounds. You strain to listen, but when you gather the courage to look, there is nothing there. Only shadows, only silence. And the whisper in your mind, they walk where you cannot see. One night, the presence sharpens. You return home to find your door unlocked. Your stomach knots. You know you locked it. You always lock it. You step inside. The air smells faintly of smoke and metal, though nothing is burning. The rooms are undisturbed, the furniture untouched. But something is wrong. Papers on your desk are slightly out of order. Tools on your bench shifted just enough to notice. Someone has been here. Someone has touched your life, and you know they are telling you something without words. We were here, we can be here again. The shadows tighten. Your friends notice it too. One swears his car was followed for miles. Another finds his phone dead, though it was charged that morning. Fear spreads between you, silent but certain. The lights you shared have become a curse. The secret was never meant to be carried beyond the desert, and now the desert is reclaiming it. Your dreams grow darker still, no longer the saucers, no longer folded skies, but faces, blank faces, men with eyes like glass, standing in your doorway, your windows, your mirrors. They do not speak, they do not move, but the whisper speaks for them. You are marked. You are watched. Speak again, and you will vanish like the others. You wake each time with your chest tight, lungs burning, convinced someone is still in the room with you. And sometimes, when you open your eyes, you think you see them, just for a moment, standing in the corner, half swallowed by shadow, watching. One evening, you decide to test it. You drive into the desert alone, the sky black above, the road stretching endless before you. And there, as you expected, the headlights return. Following, always following, you pull off the road, kill the engine, step into the silence. The desert air is cool, dry, filled with stars. The other car slows, stops 100 yards away. The lights burn steady, too steady. You wait, but no one steps out. No engine hum, no movement. Just lights, bright against the night. And then, gone. Not turned away, not faded. Gone, as though they were never there at all. Your chest tightens, your breath trembles. You know now that it will never stop. The men who follow are not meant to be seen, not fully. They live in the corner of your eye, the echo of footsteps, the hum of phones. They are shadows given flesh, and they will follow you until the silence swallows you whole. That night, as you drift into uneasy sleep, the whisper returns, calmer now, yet sharper than ever. They warned you. You did not listen. Now, the desert listens for you. The image of the saucer flashes through your mind, hovering in silence, bending the stars around it. But the vision is broken by headlights, by shadows, by faceless men waiting in the dark, and you realize with a chill that the impossible was never the only danger. The human shadows are worse, because they are real, and they are already here. You dream of a voice that is not your own. It rises out of the darkness like static on a forgotten radio, soft, distorted, trembling, yet steady enough to carry meaning. The words flow from your lips, though you do not move your mouth. They echo into a room filled with shadows, each figure watching, each face hidden. I have seen what waits in the desert. The shadows lean closer. I have touched the machines that are not ours. Your chest tightens. You feel their gaze pressing, heavy, suffocating. And I can no longer remain silent. The words fall into silence like stones into still water. The ripples spread outward, endless, and then the whisper comes, coiling around your skull, sharp and cold. Once spoken, you can never take them back. You wake with your throat dry, your heart racing, and you know the dream is not a dream. It is a choice. The days have grown unbearable. The shadows follow you everywhere now. Cars that idle too long behind you, men in suits standing at the corner of your vision, phones that click faintly before voices speak. Every step you take, you feel it. The pressure of unseen eyes, the weight of secrets suffocating you. You tell yourself you can keep it inside, that silence will protect you. But the silence does not protect, it consumes. You lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, remembering the saucers hovering in impossible stillness, the hum that pressed into your bones, the sky bending like fabric. You remember your friends gasping in the desert, their world shattered by what they saw. And you remember the footsteps outside your window, the unlocked door, the men who followed. The secret has already broken you, and now it demands to be spoken. One evening, you step outside. The desert night is sharp, the stars endless above, burning cold and ancient. You stand in the silence, the air dry against your lips, and you whisper into the emptiness. I can't carry it anymore. The words vanish into the night, but the desert hears them, and the whisper answers, faint and fractured, as though coming from the stars themselves. Speak, and you will be hunted. Stay silent, and you will vanish just the same. You begin to plan. Not in open words, not in careless notes, but in the quiet spaces of your mind where the watchers cannot reach. You think of reporters, of cameras, of lights too bright for shadows to hide in. You think of speaking aloud for the world to hear. It terrifies you, but it is the only way. The night of decision comes sooner than you expect. The phone rings. A friend of a friend. A reporter. Curious, careful, patient. You hesitate. Your throat tightens. You glance at the dark corners of your room, certain you are not alone, and then you hear it again. The whisper, not warning this time, urging. Speak, speak before the silence swallows you. You lift the receiver. Your voice trembles, and you begin. The words spill out like water from a cracked vessel. You speak of the hanger carved into stone, of the discs resting in silence, of the hum that shook your bones. You speak of gravity not as law but as a tool, bent and folded, controlled by machines not of this earth. You speak of element 115, the reactor, the bending of the sky. You speak of the desert lights, the tests, the impossible dance of saucers in the night. The reporter listens, silent, patient. And though you cannot see his face, you feel the weight of every word settling into the air like dust. When you finish, the silence lingers. Then he says quietly, "If what you're telling me is true, the world will never be the same." The days that follow blur into a storm. The interview airs. Your voice reaches beyond the desert, beyond the watchers, beyond the silence. The world hears, some believe, their eyes widen with wonder, their hearts pound with awe. Others laugh. They call you a liar, a fool, a dreamer lost in his own delusions. But it does not matter, because the secret is no longer silent, and once spoken, it cannot be taken back. The shadows tighten their grip. The cars return, closer now, headlights pressing against your door. The footsteps outside grow heavier, circling in the night. The phone clicks louder before voices answer. You feel it with every breath. The men who followed will not forgive, and the desert whispers differently now, no longer as guide, but as warning. You broke the silence. Now, the silence will break you. One night, as you walk beneath the stars, the air feels wrong. Too still, too heavy. You stop, listen, and there it is, the low hum of an engine without lights, idling in the dark, watching, waiting. You turn, and for the briefest moment, you see them. Two figures standing against the horizon, their shapes blurred, their faces hidden. And though they do not move, though they do not speak, you hear the message in your bones. This is only the beginning. You return home, your heart heavy, your chest tight. You have spoken the truth. You have broken the silence. But the cost has only begun to reveal itself. And as you close your eyes that night, the whisper returns, softer than before, almost tender, yet filled with warning. You cannot stop now. Tomorrow, the world will answer. You dream of echoes, voices layered atop one another, distorted, stretched, indistinct. Some laugh, some gasp, some whisper with reverence. The sound is chaotic, overwhelming, a storm of human reaction flooding into your skull. He's lying. He's telling the truth. This changes everything. Don't believe a word. The voices rise until they blur into static, buzzing in your ears like swarms of insects. You press your hands to your head, but the sound grows louder, spreading outward into every corner of your mind. And then, beneath it all, the whisper comes, calm and clear. You open the silence. Now the world must carry it. You wake, chest tight, breath shallow. The dream lingers like smoke, because it is no longer just a dream. The first days after you speak are strange. You expect thunder, fire, revelation. You expect the world to stop in awe, to shudder at the weight of your words. Instead, the world goes on. Cars still fill the roads. Stores still open their doors. People still laugh and argue and drink coffee as though nothing has changed. But beneath that surface, you feel the ripple. In newspapers, on televisions, on radios that buzz faintly with your voice, carried into places you will never see. Some call you a hoaxer, a fabricator of stories too wild to trust. Others call you a whistleblower, a pioneer, a man who dared to speak what the desert hid. And though the arguments rage, one truth remains. Your words cannot be unsaid. The silence has broken. At night, you listen to the broadcasts, the voice of a news anchor, calm but skeptical, the laughter of a late-night host, dismissing your story as fantasy, the hushed tones of a talk show, callers debating whether aliens walk among them. Your chest aches as you listen. Every word feels both too much and not enough, because you know. They do not understand. They cannot understand. They have not felt the hum. They have not stood in the hangar with the saucer pressing its silence into their bones. They are arguing over shadows while you carry the weight of the light itself. And yet, some believe. You see it in the eyes of strangers who glance at you too long. You hear it in the letters that arrive, handwritten, trembling, desperate. People who whisper that they too have seen lights in the sky, that they too have felt the hum. They thank you. They beg you. They warn you. And their words feel like a mirror of your own thoughts. You are not alone. But the shadows react as well. The men who followed do not vanish. If anything, they grow closer. Cars idle near your house longer. Figures linger at the edge of your vision. You feel the press of their silence with greater weight than before. Their message is unspoken but undeniable. You should not have spoken. One evening, you step outside. The desert night is still, the stars sharp above. For a moment, the silence soothes you. The cool air fills your lungs, and you almost believe you are safe. Then you hear it. A click, a shift, the faint crunch of gravel. You turn, and there, at the edge of the road, two figures stand. Suits dark, faces unreadable, eyes fixed on you. They do not move. They do not speak. But in your mind, the whisper arrives. You are not free. You never were. The figures vanish into the night, swallowed by the desert. You shiver, and you know the truth. The world may argue, the people may laugh or believe, but the shadows are real, and they are watching closer than ever. Your dreams grow heavier. No longer the awe of saucers rising, but the chaos of human voices, layered and frantic. Crowds staring at you, some cheering, some jeering, their faces blurred, their mouths wide. The whispers weave through them like threads of smoke. They will not believe until they see. And when they see, it will already be too late. You wake each morning with the taste of dust in your mouth, your chest aching with the weight of a truth that feels both shared and more isolating than ever. Still, you cannot undo it. You have spoken. The world has heard. And though they argue, though they dismiss, though they laugh, deep down, you sense it. A seed has been planted, the silence is fractured, and secrets, once broken, never sleep again. One night, you walk beneath the stars, searching for comfort in their endless glow. The desert stretches quiet and black around you, and then you see it. Far above, faint but certain, a light moves. Not a plane, not a star. It glides in silence, stops, shifts, slides across the sky in ways no human craft can. Your breath trembles, because you know what it is, and you know that somewhere, someone else is looking up at the same moment, seeing the same impossible dance. The seed is growing, the silence is breaking wider, and soon, the world will not only react with words, it will be forced to react with truth. You dream of a mirror that does not reflect you. You stand before the glass, but the face staring back is not your own. The eyes are hollow, the mouth set in a line too straight, too controlled. The figure mimics your movements, but the longer you stare, the more wrong it feels. It leans closer. Was it worth it? The voice asks, though its lips do not move. Your throat tightens. You open the silence, but now you carry its weight alone. The mirror fractures, spiderweb cracks, spreading outward until the figure splinters into 1,000 pieces. You wake, heart pounding, drenched in cold sweat. The dream is gone, but the question lingers. The world's reaction has settled into a rhythm, laughter and ridicule from some, awe and belief from others. To most, you are only a story, a name whispered late at night, a headline that drifts in and out of their daily lives. But to you, the weight is constant. You feel it pressing into you every moment, the secret you revealed, the truth you unchained. And you wonder, quietly, endlessly, was it the right choice? At night, you walk beneath the desert sky, searching for answers. The stars are sharp above, scattered across the black like shards of glass. They do not laugh, they do not argue, they only shine, ancient and endless, indifferent to human fear. You lift your eyes to them, your voice low, your breath trembling. Did I do the right thing? The wind carries your words away, but the whisper answers, truth cannot be buried forever. But truth carries a price. Your conscience gnaws at you. You remember the hangar's silence, the saucers resting in their impossible stillness. You remember the reactor, the hum that pressed into your bones, the bending of space like ripples in water. You remember the weight of knowing, and then you remember the men who followed, the shadows at your window, the headlights on empty roads. You remember your friends, their eyes wide with fear after seeing the desert lights. You remember the laughter of strangers who dismiss you, the anger of others who call you a liar, and the guilt grows heavier, because the secret is no longer yours alone. You gave it to the world, and now the world trembles under its weight. Some nights, you think of the scientists you left behind, men and women who sat in silence, who studied the impossible with eyes that never widened, voices that never cracked. They carried the secret with cold discipline, obeying the rules, guarding the silence. You wonder if they feel relief now that you are gone, relief that the burden has shifted to you, that the watchers no longer glare only at them. Or perhaps they feel rage, perhaps they curse your name in sterile corridors, furious that you shattered the silence they protected. You will never know, and that uncertainty cuts deep. You begin writing late into the night, not letters to anyone, not messages to be sent. Just words, scribbled on paper, spilling out of you like confession. Equations, diagrams, memories, whispers you've carried in silence for too long. Your handwriting trembles, smudging the ink, but you cannot stop. You write until your hands ache, until your eyes burn, until your desk is covered in fragments of thought. It is not for them. It is for you. A way to keep the conscience from consuming you whole. The dreams grow stronger. You see the saucers again, hovering in silence, the stars bending around them. You see the tall shadows, their eyes too wide, too dark, watching you from across the hangar. But this time, the whispers are different. We showed you the river. You chose to speak of it. Now the current will take you. You wake with your chest heavy, as though the air itself has thickened. The burden does not leave, even in sleep. One evening, as you stare into the horizon, a memory drifts back. Your first glimpse of the saucer, rising in silence, the way your chest filled with awe, your bones trembling with wonder. You remember thinking, this is not a secret to be hidden. This is something that belongs to everyone. That thought burns in you still, even as fear coils tighter. Maybe that is what conscience is, not the absence of fear, but the refusal to let fear silence you. And yet, the watchers remain. You see them more clearly now. The same cars, the same dark figures, always near, never close enough to touch. Their silence is heavier than words. You understand their message without needing to hear it. You spoke once. Do not speak again. Your conscience twists at the command, because you know you will. You know the silence cannot be rebuilt, and that knowledge terrifies them. One night, you wake to the sound of footsteps outside your window. Slow, heavy, deliberate. You hold your breath, your chest tight, your body frozen in the dark. The footsteps stop, and then, faintly, you hear it. Not a voice from the shadows outside, but a whisper in your mind. You are not wrong, but you are not safe. Your throat closes, your skin prickles, because for the first time, you do not know if the whisper comes from them or from something else. You lie awake until dawn, your conscience a storm of voices, your own, the watchers, the whispers from beyond. And as the first light spills across the desert, you feel the truth settle in your chest like a stone. You spoke because you had to. You spoke because silence is worse than fear. But every truth has a cost, and yours has only begun to be paid. That night, when you close your eyes, the whisper returns, low, certain, inevitable. The conscience of one is the burden of many. And soon, you will not carry it alone. You dream of a ringing phone. Not the gentle chime of home, not the muffled buzz of a friend calling late, but a sharp, metallic tone that pierces the silence of night. You reach for it, hand trembling, and press the receiver to your ear. At first there is only static, soft, whispering, like the hiss of sand across desert stone. Then, faintly, a voice slips through, distorted, warped. We know where you are. Your breath catches. The static grows louder. The words repeat, fractured now, overlapping in endless echoes. We know where you are. You drop the receiver, but the sound continues, filling the room, filling your head, until the walls tremble with the weight of it. And then, silence. You wake, heart pounding, the taste of copper on your tongue. The phone beside your bed is still, but you swear you hear the faint click of a line disconnecting. The nights grow heavier. Once, the desert had felt like a sanctuary, vast, open, alive with whispers of the unknown. Now it feels like a cage. Its silence is too sharp, its shadows too deep. Every step outside your door feels watched. The men who followed no longer linger at the edges. They are closer now, bolder. Their presence no longer a question, but a statement. The threats have begun. It starts with the phone calls, a ring late at night when the world outside lies still. You answer, and silence breathes into your ear. No words, no voices, just the faint sound of someone listening. Sometimes, faintly, you hear breathing. Other times, the line clicks off the moment you speak. And sometimes, the whispers slip through. Stop speaking. You've said enough. Next time, it won't be a warning. You hang up, chest tight, but the words cling to you long after the line has gone dead. Then come the cars. You wake in the middle of the night to see headlights idling outside your window. The engine hums low, steady, awaiting. You watch from the shadows, heart hammering, but no one steps out. The car simply waits. Minutes stretch into hours. At last, the engine roars, the headlights vanish into the black. But you do not sleep again, because you know it will return. One evening, you find your back door unlocked. You know you locked it. You always lock it. You step inside slowly, every nerve in your body alive with dread. The house is quiet, too quiet. Nothing is broken, nothing is missing. But you feel it, the wrongness in the air, the invisible weight pressing against your skin. Someone was here, and they wanted you to know it. We can reach you any time. The whisper curls through your mind, calm, certain. You are never alone. You tell yourself you will not break, that you knew the risks when you spoke, that truth has its cost, and you are willing to pay it. But courage feels fragile at night when the walls creak and the silence thickens. You lie awake, eyes fixed on the ceiling, listening to every sound. The tick of the clock, the hum of the refrigerator, the faint scrape of gravel outside your window. Your body tenses, because you know the difference between ordinary sounds and the sounds that do not belong. And these do not belong. The desert itself feels changed. When you drive its empty roads, you no longer feel awe at the vastness. Instead, you feel exposed, vulnerable. The horizon stretches too wide, the sky too open, leaving you nowhere to hide. Sometimes, you think you see figures at the ridges, tall, still, silhouetted against the stars. When you blink, they are gone. But the feeling remains, watched, measured, marked. The whispers in your dreams shift again. No longer gentle, no longer guiding. Now they warn. They want silence. They will break you to find it. But you cannot stop now. The voices from beyond and the voices of the watchers overlap, tangled in your skull until you cannot tell them apart. Which threats are human? Which warnings are not of this world? Which danger is worse? You wake each morning with the weight of both pressing into your chest. One night, the threat comes closer than ever. You wake to the sound of glass, not shattering, not breaking, just the soft tap of something against your window. You sit up, breath trembling, ears straining. Another tap, then another. You rise slowly, step to the curtain, and draw it back. The yard is empty, the desert silent. But in the dirt below the window, you see them. Footprints, fresh, leading nowhere. And the whisper, sharp as a knife, cuts through your thoughts. Next time, the glass will break. You begin to wonder how much longer you can endure. Your conscience told you to speak, and you did. The world has heard. But the shadows grow heavier, the threats sharper. Each day feels like a test. Each night feels like a warning. And yet, beneath the fear, something stronger burns. Because you remember the saucers. You remember the silence of their hum, the bending of the sky, the impossible alive before your eyes. And you know the truth is larger than fear, larger than the men who follow, larger than the threats in the night. That evening, as you stand beneath the stars, the desert feels different again. The watchers are still there, the threats are still near, but the sky glimmers above, infinite and unbroken, and the whispers return, softer this time, almost tender. Do not fear the night, fear only forgetting. The threats cannot erase what you have seen, and soon the night will reveal more. You close your eyes, the desert air sharp against your lips, and you feel it. The next chapter has already begun. You dream of holding something in your hands. At first it is solid, a fragment of metal, smooth and seamless, warm to the touch, humming faintly like a heartbeat. You clutch it tightly, certain it is real, certain it is the answer you've been waiting for. But then the edges begin to blur. The hum fades, the weight lightens, the fragment turns to dust, slipping through your fingers no matter how desperately you try to hold on. It scatters into the air, carried by a wind you cannot feel, and vanishes as though it never existed at all. And then the whisper comes. Proof is not meant to stay in your hands. You wake, gasping, your fists clenched tight, but your palms are empty. The dream is gone, and so is the proof. Since the night you spoke out, since the threats in the shadows grew louder, you've been searching for something undeniable. Evidence, not words, not whispers, not fleeting lights in the sky. Something you can hold. Something the world cannot laugh away. But proof is slippery. Every time you come close, it vanishes. The first time, it is a tape. You and your friends had captured it on a shaky camera. The saucer rising above the desert floor, sliding sideways in utter silence, darting into the night sky. The film is grainy, the focus poor, but the movement is undeniable. You replay it in the dark, your chest trembling with a strange mixture of relief and triumph. You have it. Evidence. The world will see. But when you try to show it, the tape is blank. Static. The saucer erased as if it had never been there. Your friends swear they saw it. They remember the machine gliding above the sand, but the camera remembers nothing. And the silence laughs at you. What you see is not what stays. The second time, it is metal, a fragment you find in the desert, small, curved, impossibly smooth, reflecting starlight in ways that feel unnatural. It hums faintly in your palm, vibrating like a whisper through your bones. You hide it, guard it, bring it home. You plan to test it, to show it, to prove. But when you wake the next morning, it is gone. No break-in, no disturbance, only absence. The drawer you locked is empty. The fragment has slipped away, and you hear the whisper again, cold and steady. The desert reclaims its own. The third time, it is memory itself. You sit with pen and paper, writing diagrams, equations, sketches of the reactor and its silent hum. The lines flow easily at first, a flood of detail that feels undeniable, unshakable. But when you look back the next day, the drawings are wrong, shapes distorted, numbers jumbled. What was clear in your mind has turned to nonsense on the page. You grip your head in your hands, desperate to recall the details, but the more you try, the further they slip. Like a dream fading in the light, like proof dissolving into silence. You begin to wonder if the secret is not only hidden, but protected. Every attempt to grasp it ends in loss. Every effort to hold it leaves you with nothing but empty hands. Perhaps it is not only the watchers, the men, the cars, the threats that guard it. Perhaps the secret itself refuses to be caught. It is not yours to give. The whisper cuts deeper now, curling through your thoughts like smoke. The truth moves like light. You cannot hold it, you can only glimpse it, and yet you cannot stop. The memory of the saucer is burned too deep. The hum of the reactor still thrums in your chest. The vision of the sky folding like paper will never leave you. You search anyway. Late nights in the desert, quiet hours with notebooks scattered across your desk, conversations whispered with those who believe you, with those who saw the lights and carry the same haunted silence. Each time you come close. Each time it slips away. But the closer you come, the more dangerous it feels, because the watchers notice too. The cars return. The phones click louder. The shadows linger longer outside your window. They do not want you to find proof, and perhaps the truth itself does not either. One night, beneath the desert sky, you see it again. A light, silent, shimmering, gliding low across the horizon, darting with impossible precision. You raise your camera, your hands trembling, your breath sharp. You press record. The saucer glows brighter, sliding upward, then vanishing into the black. You stop the camera, heart pounding, relief washing through you. This time, you think. This time, I have it. But when you rewind the tape, the sky is empty. The desert still. Only silence remains. Your friends begin to drift. Some are afraid. Some are weary. Some cannot bear the weight of chasing proof that always dissolves. You feel the isolation settling heavier with each passing day. The world calls you liar, dreamer, fool. And though you know what you saw, though you feel the hum in your bones, the absence of proof gnaws at you. Was it all only a dream? Or is the dream more real than the world that denies it? The whispers in your sleep no longer guide or warn. They taunt. You cannot hold it. You cannot prove it. You can only remember. You wake each time with your hands clenched tight, empty, always empty. One evening, you stand again beneath the desert stars. The horizon stretches silent, the air cool and sharp. You close your eyes, and for a moment, you hear it. The hum, deep, steady, alive. When you open your eyes, the desert is empty, but you know it is still there, waiting, watching. Proof that refuses to stay, proof that slips away. And in the silence, the whisper curls once more, softer this time, almost kind. You do not need to hold it. Soon, it will hold you. You dream of a glowing stone. It rests in the palm of your hand, small and unremarkable at first glance, yet it pulses faintly with light, blue, silver, shifting like molten glass. The glow beats in rhythm with your heart. When you close your fist around it, you feel warmth, then pressure, then weight, as though gravity itself bends around it. The longer you hold it, the heavier it becomes, pulling your hand downward, dragging your arm toward the earth. You try to let go, but your fingers won't open. The element clings to you, and then the whisper comes, soft, steady, inevitable. This is not of your world. You wake with your chest tight, your skin damp, and the feeling still there. The phantom weight in your hand, the sense of something pulling at you even in the silence of your room. They called it Element 115. To most, it was only theory, numbers on a chart, a ghost of possibility whispered in the language of physics. A thing not found in nature, not stable, not real. But you saw it, you held it, and it was more than real. It was alive. The first time you saw it was in the laboratory, deep within the carved stone of the hidden base. The air was sharp with metal and ozone, the lights buzzing faintly above. Guards watched in silence as the scientist slid a small container across the table. You leaned closer, your breath caught in your throat. Inside, resting as though it were nothing, was the element. It was dull at first glance, metallic, heavy, a fragment no larger than a coin. But as your eyes lingered, you saw it shimmer, almost imperceptibly, bending the light around its edges, not glowing, not burning, but alive. The seed of the river, the whisper curled into your thoughts, the heart of silence. They told you it was impossible, that no such element should exist naturally, that its half-life was too short, its structure too unstable. To scientists on the outside, Element 115, was a dream, a fleeting number on a chalkboard, gone before it could ever be touched. But here, in this hidden place, it existed. It bent the laws you thought unbreakable. It powered the machines that rose in silence, the saucers that danced across the desert sky. It was the key, the impossible made real. You watched the demonstrations with your chest trembling, the fragment placed within the reactor, the hum rising, deep and steady, the air around it thickening, bending, alive. Gravity itself seemed to curve in response, folding toward the fragment as though it were a sun in miniature. Objects slid across the table toward it, pulled not by magnetism, not by force, but by something deeper. The scientist's voice was calm, practiced. The field amplifies. It bends space around the craft. No thrust, no combustion, simply distortion. But you barely heard him, because the whispers drowned him out. This is how the sky breaks. This is how the void is crossed. At night you lay awake replaying it in your mind, the weight of the element, the hum of the reactor, the silence that followed, and each time the thought gnawed deeper. This should not exist, not here, not now, not in human hands. You began to wonder where it came from. Was it mined from another world? Was it forged in a star, carved from a place where gravity itself is born? Was it given, left behind, planted like a seed for you to find? No answer came, only the whisper. It was never yours. The watchers guarded it more closely than anything else. You noticed how their eyes sharpened whenever the containers were moved, how their hands lingered near weapons, how their silence grew heavier. It was not just a resource, it was sacred, and you were only allowed to glimpse it. Never hold it for long, never take it beyond the walls of the base. The element was their treasure, their secret, their greatest fear. And you understood why. Because if the world knew it existed, if the world held it in its hands, nothing would remain the same. Not science, not power, not war, not peace. Everything would bend, just like the field around the reactor. But proof never stays. Even when you tried to describe it, to explain its weight, its shimmer, its impossible hum, the words fell short. People laughed, dismissed it as fantasy. You wanted to show them, to hold it before their eyes, to say, "Here, this is real, this is the truth." But the element was always out of reach, always slipping back into silence. "Not yet," the whisper said. "Not for them." Sometimes you dream of holding it again, not in a lab, not under watchful eyes, alone. You feel the warmth, the pull, the hum. You feel space bend around you, time stretch thin, the stars leaning closer. And in that moment you realize the element is not just a fuel, it is a doorway, and once opened, it will never close. You wake each time with your chest aching, your hand trembling, your breath caught in your throat. Because deep down, you know the truth. The element is not only the key to the sky, it is the price. And sooner or later, the world will pay it. That night, as you stand beneath the stars, the desert silent around you, the whisper returns. Softer than before, but sharp enough to cut through the stillness. The element is waiting, and soon it will no longer slip away. You close your eyes, and you feel it again. The weight in your hand, the hum in your chest, the impossible bending the world around you. It should not exist, but it does, and its existence changes everything. You dream of two mirrors facing each other. You stand between them, your reflection stretching into infinity, each version of you slightly different from the last. Some reflections look calm, others look frightened. Some whisper words you cannot hear, their mouths moving in silence. But as you stare, one reflection does not match. It lags behind, its lips twisting into words you do not speak. "Do you believe yourself?" it asks. Your throat tightens. You try to answer, but your voice does not reach the glass. The reflection leans closer, its eyes dark, hollow, endless. Or have you gone mad? The glass shatters. You wake gasping, the fragments of dreams still cutting at the edges of your mind. Each day grows heavier now. The truth you carry gnaws at you, but proof has slipped away. The tape erased. The fragment vanished. The numbers blurred. You know what you saw. You know what you felt. The saucers rising in silence. The element bending space around you. The hum alive in your bones. And yet, the world insists you are wrong. They laugh. They call you liar, dreamer, madman. Even those who believed at first begin to waver, their conviction fading in the absence of proof. You see it in their eyes. The doubt, the quiet question they cannot speak aloud. Did you imagine it all? At night, the desert becomes a stage for your own torment. You stand beneath the endless stars, searching for the lights, the shimmer, the proof that once felt so near. But the sky is empty, silent, indifferent. The longer you stare, the more uncertain you become. Did the saucers ever rise? Did the hum ever press into your chest? Or were they dreams, illusions born of sleepless nights and desperate need? The desert does not answer. It only waits. And in the silence, the whisper comes, low and steady. You saw, you felt. Do not doubt the river you touched. But another voice follows, colder, sharper, low. Uter, dreamer, fool, madness has made a home in you. The voices battle inside your skull. One reminds you of the hangar's silence, of the reactor glowing faintly, of the element bending the air itself. The other laughs, whispering that your memory has betrayed you, that your mind has invented what the world will not accept. You feel yourself tearing in two, caught between belief and madness, truth and illusion. And each day, the boundary grows thinner. Your friends drift further away. Some avoid you entirely, their fear too heavy to bear. Others still listen, but their eyes are uncertain now, their faces tight with worry. They want to believe, but belief is fragile when proof is gone. One evening, a friend whispers, "What if it's just in your head?" The words strike like a blade. You want to scream, to protest, to drag them into the desert and show them what you saw. But you know what will happen. The sky will be empty. The lights will not appear. The saucers will remain hidden, and you will be left alone with your words, your faith, your madness. The nights grow darker. The phone still rings with silence. The cars still idle with headlights burning. The footsteps still circle your house when the world sleeps. But now, you wonder if even they are real. Are the watchers truly there? Or are they shadows your mind has conjured to give shape to fear? Are the whispers from beyond, or only the echo of your own unraveling thoughts? The doubt cuts deeper than any threat, because once you cannot trust your own mind, the silence owns you completely. And yet, sometimes, the lights return. Not often, not clearly, but faintly, briefly, enough to ignite the fire again. A shimmer at the horizon, a darting star that halts and slides, a glow too steady, too sharp to be explained away. You gasp when you see them, your chest filling with relief, with validation. "I'm not mad," you whisper to yourself. "I saw it. I know I saw it." But the next day, the doubt creeps back. Were the lights real? Or were they just tricks of vision, illusions born of your need to believe? The desert swallows its answers, leaving you stranded in the hollow space between wonder and despair. You begin writing again, this time not to prove, not to persuade, but to anchor yourself. Pages fill with your memories, your dreams, your fears, the hum of the saucer, the shimmer of the element, the whispers in the night. You write because you must, because if you do not, the memories will dissolve into the silence and you will lose yourself completely. The pages are not proof, but they are reminders, and reminders are the only shield you have left. The whispers change once more, not guiding, not warning, not mocking, questioning. Do you still believe us? Do you still believe yourself? Or have you surrendered to the madness? You do not answer, because you do not know. One night, as you stand beneath the stars, the desert stretches endless and silent around you. The horizon is black, the sky a river of fire above. And for a moment you feel both truths at once. Yes, you saw the impossible. Yes, you touched the element that should not exist. Yes, the saucers rose into the night. And yet, maybe it was madness. Maybe it was dream. Maybe it was all nothing at all. Belief and madness overlap, blurring into one, and you are caught between them. The wind brushes across the sand, cool and sharp. The stars shimmer above, ancient and indifferent. And in the silence, the whisper curls into your mind, calm and final. Soon, the line will break, and you will know which side you stand on. You dream of a desert without end. The sand stretches infinite, silver under moonlight. No ridges, no horizon, only flat, endless emptiness. You walk for what feels like days, yet no stars shift above, no distance closes ahead. At last, you see something. A single chair in the middle of the desert, waiting for you. You sit, exhausted, and realize the silence itself is watching you. It has always been watching. And then the whisper comes, soft, patient, ancient. You carried it as far as you could. Now the silence will carry it further. The desert dissolves. You wake, heart trembling, knowing the dream was not an end, but an inheritance. Time has passed since you first spoke. The headlines have faded, the interviews have ended, the laughter of skeptics still echoes, and the whispers of believers linger in quiet corners of the world. But life moves on. People forget. You become a name, a rumor, a story traded late at night between those hungry for wonder and those drunk on doubt. Some call you prophet, some call you madman, most do not call you at all, and yet the silence remains. It waits, it remembers. The desert feels heavier now. You walk its edges in the still hours, your breath clouding in the cool night air, the sand crunching softly beneath your feet. The stars blaze above, sharp and ancient, their light unbending. But you no longer search for lights on the horizon. You no longer wait for the saucers to rise, because you understand now, the legacy was never proof. It was silence, the silence of secrets kept, the silence of truths half spoken, the silence of a desert that buries what should never be found. Still, the memories linger. The hum of the reactor pressing into your bones, the shimmer of the element bending light, the saucers gliding in impossible stillness, darting across the sky like living shadows. These images are carved into you, deeper than time, deeper than fear. You carry them not as evidence, but as memory. And memory is its own kind of legacy. Sometimes you wonder what it was all for, the fear, the threats, the endless nights of doubt. You wonder if you changed anything, if your words shifted the world even a fraction. And then you hear it. Quiet voices, faint but certain, like echoes through time. Children whispering to each other about lights in the sky. Strangers debating your story beneath the hum of neon signs. Dreamers lying awake at night, wondering if the universe is more than they were told. Your name, your voice, your truth, woven into their questions. The silence may bury, but it also preserves, and your legacy breathes within it. The watchers have grown quiet now. No more cars idling outside your home. No more footsteps circling your walls. No more clicks on the phone line. But their silence is not mercy, it is patience. They do not need to erase you. Time will, but the secret remains, and secrets, once loosed, never vanish entirely. The silence is eternal. The whisper coils gently, almost like comfort. But so is the memory. You sit one evening beneath the open sky, the desert cool around you, the stars endless overhead. The wind is soft, brushing across your skin like a familiar hand. And you realize, this is where it always ends. Not with proof, not with revelation, but with silence. Because silence is the only container large enough to hold what cannot be spoken. And yet, something deeper lingers. Not fear, not regret, but wonder. You remember the hum of the saucer, the bending of the sky, the impossible alive before your eyes. You remember the way your chest filled with awe the first time you saw it rise. That wonder has never left you. It has carried you through doubt, through madness, through shadows and threats, and it will outlive you, because wonder is stronger than silence. The desert teaches you this. One voice may fade, one man may vanish, but wonder spreads like fire. It burns in the hearts of those who believe, those who dream, those who look at the night sky and refuse to think they are alone. And in that fire lies your legacy, not silence, not madness, but the unshakable truth that you dared to see. You close your eyes. The hum returns, faint but steady, threading through your chest one last time. You feel the weight of the element again in your palm, warm, heavy, alive, and you hear the whisper, final and soft. You carried it well. Now let the silence carry you. You dream of an endless horizon. The sand is silver in the moonlight, rippling like an ocean that has forgotten how to move. The stars hang low, sharp and countless, their glow so strong it feels like you could pluck them from the sky. But something is wrong. The desert breathes. You hear it. Long, steady inhalations, the shifting of dunes like a chest rising and falling. You press your hand to the ground, and the sand is warm, pulsing faintly, as though the earth itself carries a heartbeat. And then the whisper drifts through the stillness. The desert does not sleep. It remembers everything. The sand shifts beneath your feet. The horizon bends, and you wake, breathless, with the weight of its eyes still pressing against you. You learn quickly that the desert is not empty. It feels empty, yes, endless, silent, lifeless. But when you walk its edges, you feel the weight of its gaze. Every ridge, every shadow, every grain of sand carries memory, the footsteps of those who came before, the whispers of machines hidden beneath stone, the echoes of lights that once danced across the sky. The desert is a book that never closes, and you are written in its pages now. At night, you step outside, the air sharp and cool, the stars endless above. You listen, not for cars, not for watchers, not even for whispers. You listen for the desert itself, and slowly, you begin to hear it. The shifting of sand against stone, the faint rustle of wind that is not wind, the low hum, deep and steady, rising from the ground as though the earth itself is alive. It is not loud, it does not shout, but it is constant. The desert is awake, always. You remember the first time you stood at the hidden base, the mountain splitting open, stone sliding against stone to reveal a hangar carved into the earth. You remember the saucers resting in their silence, their curved bodies shimmering with impossible stillness. At the time, you thought the secret was inside the mountain, but now you understand. The secret was the desert itself, because without it, the silence would never have been kept. Without it, The machines could never have hidden. Without it, the watchers could not have lingered in the shadows. The desert is the guardian, the keeper of silence, the one place that never sleeps. And sometimes you see it. The proof, the memory, the shimmer that refuses to stay. Not with cameras, not with recordings, only with your eyes. A light gliding silently across the horizon, darting upward, vanishing in an instant. A shimmer in the air where heat should not be. A glow at the ridges that fades the moment you look too long. Each glimpse feels like a dream, fleeting, fragile. But the desert remembers. Even if the world forgets, your nights grow heavier. The cars no longer idle. The footsteps no longer circle your home. The watchers, for now, are gone. But the desert remains. It waits for you. Sometimes, when you stand beneath the stars, you feel as though you are the one being tested. Not by men, not by governments, but by the land itself. Do you still believe? The whisper asks. Do you still remember? You close your eyes, the cool wind brushing across your face, and you answer without words. You remember, and you believe. The desert answers in silence. But silence here is not empty. It is alive. It carries the hum of the machines beneath stone, the echo of voices that never belonged to human throats, the memory of lights that split the sky and folded space like paper. You hear it when you stand still long enough. The desert never sleeps, and neither does the truth. One evening, you climb to the top of a ridge, the sand slipping beneath your boots, the horizon stretching endless in every direction. The stars blaze above, sharper than ever, their light filling the night with cold fire. You sit, breath slow, heart steady, and for a moment, the silence deepens. Then you hear it, the hum, not from machines, not from reactors, from the desert itself. Low, steady, eternal. It fills your chest, presses into your bones, settles into your heartbeat, and you realize you are not only hearing it, you are part of it. The whispers return, layered and soft, carried on the wind. You spoke, you broke the silence, but the silence will outlive you. Your throat tightens, because you understand now what legacy truly means. Not headlines, not interviews, not laughter or belief. Legacy is silence, carried by the desert, carried by the stars, carried by those who dare to stand and listen. You remain there until dawn. The first light spills across the horizon, painting the sand in shades of gold and fire. The desert glows, endless and alive, every grain shimmering as though it has kept watch all night. And you know it has, because the desert never sleeps, and it never forgets. That night, as you close your eyes, the whisper returns, final, calm, inevitable. The silence is eternal, but so is wonder. And tomorrow, you will see what the desert has guarded all along.